Growing controversy today as comments made by a new Biden administration official are coming to light. Yelena Porter, who has been appointed as the new State Department deputy spokesperson, wrote in 2016, and I quote, "The largest threat to U.S. national security are U.S. cops, not ISIS, not Russian hackers or anyone or anything else," end quote.
Those remarks were part of a larger statement Porter released after a police shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our panelists are back with us now to react. Jenny Beth Martin, George C., and Bob Barr. Jenny Beth, I'll go to you. If you're on Twitter and perhaps you follow a few conservative voices, you might know about Ms. Porter and the statements that she's made, specifically when it comes to our law enforcement officers. But otherwise, if you're following sort of mainstream media outlets, you haven't heard very much about her past, her history, her remarks. Why do you think that's the case?
Well, I think the mainstream media just wants to cover these things up so that the most radical people can be in the administration working for Biden. I think that many, if not most, in the mainstream media want to change our country and are very radical. It doesn't surprise me at all to find out that someone who President Biden has nominated is like this. He claims to be moderate, but the fact is he's embracing the radical leftist agenda that we have listened to from many people throughout the past year and several years. So the fact that she has said that she thinks that cops are more dangerous than ISIS or Russian hackers and that cops are committing genocide in this country, it doesn't surprise me because that's the kind of people he's embracing and the agenda he's embracing.
George, what are your thoughts on that very same topic and this person obviously being in power in the state that she's in saying these comments? Does she still need to be questioned about that?
Well, I'd go back to my earlier comment that it's going to be a long 4 years because we're going to have a lot of this kind of stuff. And I think I would caution folks on the right, conservatives, on how they react to this story and others like it, because the natural inclination is to be outraged and to defend our police who are under siege right now from the woke far left and be just incensed by this kind of comment and this kind of behavior on the far left. But I think we got to do both. I think we need to defend the police and be full-throated advocates of those who are keeping our streets safe. And at the same time, the legacy of slavery and racism just seems to be never ending. It creates emotional issues that never go away in the African American community. And I think we need to be, as Americans, as all of us being patriotic Americans, empathetic to some of the old wounds that still fester in the African American community and reach out to them in brotherhood and sisterhood to try to bring them into the conservative tent, because that's where most of them belong. And they vote overwhelmingly left. And that's got to change. So to me, there's a practical patriotic issue and there's a political issue, and conservatives have to be smart on both.
I mean, these are some serious accusations that she's raising, and again, describing.
Well, they're ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
In one tweet,
that's the immediate reaction is to say that's
right.
Ridiculous. We're outraged, and I don't think that's quite the right response. I think it has to be a more measured, reasoned response.
Bob, your thoughts on this? Because, again, this is a woman who will be speaking from a podium and giving out information. Should she at least be questioned about maybe what she meant behind these tweets instead of just automatically assuming that role? I mean, I hate to do this sort of double standard everything because we'll be doing this for the next 4 years. But if this were someone in the Trump administration and these bad tweets resurfaced again, would they at least be questioned or pushed on it, Bob?
Sure they ought to. And this gobbledygook that that I just heard there makes no sense. I mean, we're not going to bring people into the Republican Party by talking about slavery and the legacy of slavery. We're going to bring people into the Republican Party by talking about those things that the Republican Party stands for and that have meaning to real Americans in this 21st century. Economic freedom, education freedom, strong national security. That's what we ought to be talking about. Not worrying about being empathetic to slavery. I mean, that plays right into the Democrats' hands, trying to make that the issue rather than what the Republican Party really stands for.
Jenny Beth Martin, your thoughts?
I think that if we want to bring people into the Republican Party, we've got to make sure that we're telling them how the policies and the ideas that Republicans want and stand for make people's lives better. I think that you have to make it personal and show that we can support the police and we can help you, no matter where you are in the economic ladder, move up that economic ladder so that you have more opportunity in your life. And I think that we can stand for education freedom, including reopening schools, which needs to happen in places where it has not happened in this country, so that kids in this country have a better opportunity for a better future later in life.
All right. This has been a great discussion. Let's switch gears, get to another topic. The Biden administration facing some new conflict of interest concerns after it revealed that a very close associate of Hunter Biden's lawyer was appointed to a key DOJ job. These two lawyers were so close. They worked at the same law firm, apparently sharing the same clients as recent as last month. George, I'll ask you, does this come across as some sort of conflict of interest when, again, these people are so close to one another and you've got Hunter Biden involved as well?
Sure. Well, I'm going to go to gobbledygook real quickly because I think that's a perfect example of these circular firing squads we form in the Republican Party, where we point fingers at each other and are ugly to each other for no purpose whatsoever. Of course, African Americans belong in the conservative movement, the Republican Party, because we're about jobs and safe neighborhoods and unity and school choice and things of that sort. But that's how we have to win them over. And when we slap them down with issues they care about, that's a big mistake, and we're not going to win them over. And I think this inter-party fighting is ridiculous and silly and not a good use of our time. Coming back to Hunter Biden and his friends, would we expect anything different from the Biden family and the Biden administration after what we've seen with them saying that the allegations he was up to no good were silly and the mainstream media not willing to be reporting on that, when the FBI investigation has been going on for 2 years on this? So we're going to see a lot of silliness the next 4 years. And like I said, we better buckle up and get ready because it's going to be painful. And we need to win back the Congress in 2 years. So at least we have a good buffer against the silliness that's going to go on in this administration.
All right. That is George C., Bob Barr, and Jenny Beth Martin, our panelists for this hour. We do appreciate it. All the perspectives always welcome here on National Report. Thanks, guys.